Welcome to Pop of Genius on Urban Politics. If you would like to join our community, please subscribe to the channel, like and share. If you want to support the channel or buy me a cup of coffee for my research time, Cash App $ Pop of Genius Films, and thank you for all of your support.
Much of my content will take you into a deep dive into historical. If you are familiar with my channel, you will know that this is an equal opportunity channel. This is a no hate zone. There are things that I discuss that may be about my own people, my culture, my race, my heritage. There are things that I talk about historically and current wise politically that are outside of my race or my heritage, but it's all done in love. Please don't think that I'm ever trying to come against anyone in hate. The things that I do, it is to help motivate unity and to squash out division. So you are welcome into listening into this conversation on today. Much love.
Letting it be known that Ilhan Omar is there to take a Black American seat in Congress.
It is very important in Ilhan tayo Somali tayo meeshaas lagu jiro. Qofkii Soomaaliya oo aragtidiisu tahay nin madow ha qaato kursigaas ama qof cad ha qaato qof moral. Marka taas waa lagu dhiirigelinayaa sababtaan arrinkan ku soo celinaya Soomaalida oo u sheegay.
They're not here to be our friends. They are not here to fight for all Black people. They are here to fight for Somalians. That's it. Those are not my words. It's their words. It's their actions, right? So before y'all jump on here, look, just another jealous Black American. I'm not jealous of anything. We can't be beat. We're undefeated here. That's something y'all forgot. Mind you, this shit was on camera. So I want to know what y'all got to say about that. I already know that Black Americans have no allies at all. We don't have friends here. We don't have allies here, especially Africans. It's sad, but it's true. And it's not coming from us. It's coming from you guys.
One of the many reasons on why Black Americans here in the United States, foundational Black Americans that have a lineage here, that are American descendants of slaves or indigenous here before slavery even begun. This is the reason why we are delineating from these groups of people. It's because even with all of the unfortunate events, the history of this country, we still have a genuine love for the United States of America. Why? Because we helped to build it. We have fought in its wars before there were civil rights. We have helped to build this country up. And you know, the persons that has given the most to build this country up, it's us. Why? Because we have provided over 400 years of free labor. And then an additional 100+ years of labor that was provided to this United States that was based off of unfair practices to where we could not gain real financial freedom, even to this day, and still have not been able to gain any type of reparations from it. But however, we never flee. We never say, oh, we're just completely through with the United States and all of its policies, this, that, and the other, that we prefer to live somewhere else outside of the United States. The only time we say that, oh, we would like to go back to Africa, is to find out our roots. But a lot of us are done with that. We're kind of done with that because we've come to a point to where we were giving so much of ourselves as Black Americans. We were the ones that were providing the positive messages for the continent over here, because the communication that we put out, we project out to the globe, people actually listen to it. So we were the ones that were rooting for apartheid to be ended. We were the ones over here rooting for dashikis to be accepted, afros to be accepted, natural hair to be accepted into the workplace. We were the ones that were saying that there should be no rights if nobody can be able to receive civil rights. There should be no rights. No justice,
Always
no
have
peace.
these
These mantras where we're so inclusive of everybody else. We're inclusive of not only Africans, we're inclusive of Asians, we're inclusive of Latin and our indigenous brothers and sisters. And a lot of times we're not reciprocated that type of
Here's
love.
another example of what I mean by that. Oh, but wait, there's more.
3 hairdressers at a Birmingham hair salon have been arrested. According to the victim, she went to the salon that day for a haircut and had agreed on a price of $200 with the staff beforehand. However, after the service was completed and she paid the agreed amount, the staff suddenly changed their minds and demanded an additional $50. When I refused and tried to leave, things completely spiraled out of control, Jessica recalled.
And now, when she was arrested, along with her 2 employees, to add insult to the injury, this is the alleged voicemail that was recorded by her and how she really feels about Black Americans and the woman that she assaulted.
If you are calling to give me any kind of ill will or ill intent, I do not care. I do not care for your Americans. I do not care for your hair. You are structural, you are prejudiced, and you are ridiculous. To hell with you all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And so, even when we come to a point where we're like, you know what, we just want to dead all of this, right? We just want to go our separate ways. We keep getting pulled back into the bull. Now, this past month, we had a situation in Alabama, Mama's Gifted Hands, where she put hands on a Black American woman and tried to manipulate a service by adding on an additional charge that she did not discuss with her client. Now, that was wrong, and they arrested her because she tried to kidnap her. She assaulted her by pulling out a plug of her own natural hair. And then she even tried to falsify a price to a paying client who provided her the cash money she asked for. She tried to do a bait and switch at the end of the service and tack on an additional $50. Now, how would you feel as an American going to Walmart and you go there and you're being told that your sales tax for the state that you live in is a certain percentage and that the cost of the product is this amount? And then when you get to the register, they say, oh, well, we just want to add on additional $50 that you had no idea about. How would you feel as a consumer? And that's exactly what this African woman tried to do.
You'd be ready to throw hands. You would be ready to throw hands in the line at Walmart because you said one thing and now you are trying to pull a bait and switch with me, and you are trying to place my coins in a precarious situation because I don't have any.
So glad we got that on recording. And neither will you get the money from any other type of practice that you try to enter into if you get to stay here in the United States, because well along with being a licensed cosmetologist, if she is that, that's also dealing with public health. So that means that you should not be considered for any type of work in regards to the medical field, and you should not be considered for any type of work in public education. That should be dead.
This one right here, Representative Ilhan Omar, I'm just so deeply disappointed in her and her actions. I'm going to let you hear the news reporting of what's going on with her and her insolence in regards to her status here and her having the privilege to be an elected official to represent constituents in her district. But what she has done is she has taken her role and she now has used that role for personal gains and for gains that only benefit her tribe.
Not going anywhere. Not only are we not going anywhere.
Fiery statement from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is igniting a political firestorm after she declared Somalis are not going anywhere, repeating it in a tone many critics say sounded like a direct challenge to ICE agents. Omar's remarks immediately sparked outrage within the Homeland Security community, with opponents accusing her of effectively warning federal immigration officers not to enforce the law in her district, an area with a large East African immigrant population. Critics argue that Omar is sending a message that ICE should stay out, regardless of immigration status. Meanwhile, calls are growing for former acting ICE Director Tom Homan to send ICE and DHS agents directly into her district to demonstrate that no member of Congress, not even Omar, can override federal immigration enforcement.
I mean, I have no worry. I don't know how they take away my citizenship and like deport me, but I don't even know like why that's such a scary threat. Like, I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown. My kids are grown. Like, I can go live wherever.
Spoken like a true selfish individual. That's a person that thinks with an individual mindset, because she doesn't think about, see, she's made her millions. She came into office with student loans and no money, and now she's made her millions. She's like racking up about 30 million now. She owns a winery and all of these other things. They're questioning, how did she get that much money as well? And now that she has her money, she's like not remembering the people who are like her at one time when she was 8 years old and she came into this country and she had to flee from war in her country. They had to end up in a refugee camp in Kenya. She's from Somalia. And she doesn't think about all of the other little 8-year-olds that are arriving in refugee countries trying to come into America as a safe haven. All she's thinking about now is, I got my money, I got my new husband, I've got my titles, this, that, and the other. My kids are grown, they've got their education, and to heck with everyone else. Spoken like a true narcissist, spoken like a true individual, someone that in the beginning had, she never had the heart for the constituents that elected her from the get-go. And I want to even say this. I said, oh, well, she just thinks about her tribe. She's not even thinking about them, obviously. Because why continue to challenge? You know, even if the law is the law, you're supposed to use wisdom as a person that is a decision maker. Someone who has been elected to represent a group of people. Their livelihood, their safety is in your hands. You are the representation there on the Capitol. And if you're talking like this so irresponsibly and just so, it's just shameful. And to think about all of the Black American people that supported her and rooted for her, it is just, I'm sick. But she thinks that it's just going to be that simple to be in the middle of billions of dollars that have been projected out to different organizations that she has had her signature on and has gotten kickbacks from them voting for her. There's billions of dollars. And this is like going to be one of the biggest fraud cases, federal fraud cases in history, possibly. And she is at the helm of it. She thinks it's going to be just that easy. It's not going to be just that easy. And she thinks that her husband's going to follow her back to her homeland. Because if she thinks she's going to be able to just go wherever she wants to and find rest in any nation, she's sadly mistaken.
Prison and permanent deportation loom as Ilhan Omar is accused of fraud reaching $350 million. In 1995, a 12-year-old girl named Ilhan Abdullahi Omar stepped onto American soil from a refugee camp in Kenya. Not a penny to her name, unable to speak English, living on food stamps and federal housing assistance. 3 decades later, that same woman has become a federal representative for Minnesota, now owning a net worth ranging from $6 to $30 million, skyrocketing by 3,500% in just 1 year. While a representative's salary is fixed at only $174,000 per year, this is no longer a story of rising from poverty to success. This is a criminal case being built right in the heart of the United States Congress. Immigration fraud, money laundering, betrayal of the nation, and it may end with a 30-year federal prison sentence along with permanent deportation to Somalia. Let us walk you through the money, every single dollar. in 2023. The assets of Ilhan Omar and her husband totaled only $51,000. According to congressional financial disclosures, in 2024, that number jumped to $6 to $30 million. What is the source of the money? Her husband Tim Minet's California winery suddenly became valued at $1 to $5 million. Rose Lake Capital LLC, a venture investment fund in Washington, D.C., valued at $5 to $25 million. No public clients and no transparent financial reports. Meanwhile, Omar herself cried on national television in 2024, saying she only had a few $1,000s in her account and was still paying off student loans. While millions of African American, Asian American, and Latino Americans have struggled with inflation and debt, a representative who constantly calls America a white colonial empire suddenly became a dollar millionaire overnight. The question now is no longer whether there is anything shady, but how shady it is. The marriage from 2009 to 2017 with Ahmed Nur Said Elmi, a man whom the Somali community in Minneapolis publicly calls her biological brother. And what was the purpose? To cheat for a green card, to cheat federal scholarships at North Dakota University, to cheat the entire U.S. immigration system. Omar called it a racist rumor. But Somali birth certificates, wedding photos, school records, and signed statements from family members were submitted to the FBI and ICE in January 2025. If she is convicted of federal immigration fraud under 18 USCS 1546, the maximum penalty is 10 years in prison for one count. If she is convicted of fraudulent marriage to obtain citizenship under 8 USCS 1325, that adds another 5 to 10 years. If she is convicted of tax fraud and money laundering through her husband's shell companies, it will easily reach 20 to 30 years of federal prison.
And this is the thing. I wish her all the best. I'm hoping that is just a rumor. It's very highly unlikely. But I don't wish anyone evil. And I think this is the point, is that we are here in America. All of us are here in America so that everyone can do well. We want to see everyone do well here, especially foundational Black Americans. That's why we fight for civil rights. That's why we fight for the things. That's why we voice the opinion. That's why we are always the ones that are deemed the troublemakers, because we speak out against injustice. We're just trying to make sure that people are not being treated unfairly. And that's how we feel like we've been treated unfairly from people that essentially come from our homeland, our roots. Now, some people didn't come from Africa, and however they developed into becoming Black Americans because they were indigenous. However, for the majority of us that ascended here through trafficking, through chattel slavery, we're not here to knock anyone else down. Our path, our story, our testimony has always been the plight of freedom. Let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope that I can see some of your comments down in the comment section. And I hope you have a great and upcoming week. Thank you.
Welcome to Pop of Genius on Urban Politics. If you would like to join our community, please subscribe to the channel, like and share. If you want to support the channel or buy me a cup of coffee for my research time, Cash App $Pop of Genius Films, and thank you for all of your support.